So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, chapter number 5, beginning from verse number 6. So this is the story of Prahlad Maharaj and his father Hiranyakashipu. So we read that Prahlad, he was a great devotee and always absorbed in thoughts of Krishna right from childhood. He was born with that gift of devotion, which is very rare. And one day his father, he asked him that, what is the best thing you know? Like, children or small parents are very happy to speak with the child and ask questions, and especially when they go to school, they want to know what they have learned. So Prahlad, he gave a very shocking answer. He said that you are the best of the demons, Asuravarya, and you should listen to me. He said that the only thing one has to know is how to surrender to Krishna. And if you don't know this, then you are living in a blind valley, no matter where you are, and you are bound to suffer. So when the father heard this, he got a shock of 11,000 volts. Because he was a staunch enemy of Krishna, and his aim of his life was to kill Krishna, Vishnu. He actually did not know Krishna specifically, but Vishnu. And he did all his tapasya, his austerities, so that he could kill him. And now he has his son, who is singing songs about the enemy. So this is the paradox of human life, that many a times father and son, they cannot get along. They are like two different opposite poles. So it's like the axe cuts wood, but the handle is made of wood. So he was like that. He is the son of Hiranyakashipu, but he is sitting there like he wants to cut him to pieces. Or at least Hiranyakashipu thought that. So how he reacted, that is being described in this verse. He says, Shrutva putra girodatya parapaksha samahitaha jahasa buddhir balanam vidyate parabuddhibhi. He said that first he laughed very loudly, that demoniac laugh, because he was so carefree and he thought there is no one who can overpower him. So loudly he laughed. Putra giro datya parapaksha samahita jahasa. And what he thought, that the mind of my son has been polluted by an enemy. That somehow the enemy has entered into my house and they have brainwashed my son. Because if you want to take revenge from somebody, then best is to turn the relatives of that person against him. So then he has to suffer with them. You don't have to do anything else. So it's like putting poison in your food, because you love to eat food and the food has poison. So you love your relatives but they themselves become like poison to you. So he says because he is a young boy, he does not understand what is our family tradition. We are asuras, we are demons, and we are not follower of Vishnu. So somebody has given him wrong education, therefore he is speaking like this. This was a thought which came in his mind because he is a king. And as I was explaining yesterday that in India in olden days, kings were given special knowledge, especially about enemies, how to deal with the enemies, how the kings, they get news about the enemy through spies, or how they can spread rumors. So this is all royal politics which goes on. So Hiranyakashipu also thought that since Vishnu is his enemy, so maybe some Vaishnavas have contacted my son and put poison in his mind, which of course is a fact, but this was done before he was born, as we will read. So Vishwanath Chakravarti says that Bhadram Taiti Tvaddishtam Modakadikam Dasyam Parpakshe Shatrupakshe Vishnu Samahita Parinishchita Jahase. So he thought that some people who are devoted to Lord Vishnu, they have influenced him. Jahase iti baloyam yoyad dhareti tadeva dhatte asya ko dosha. So he thought that he is just a boy, it's not his problem. Whoever tells him anything, then children have the habit of repeating. They are good in repetition, imitation, and then repeating what others are doing. Usually they imitate their parents. Whatever the mother is doing or the father is doing, they also start doing that. So I thought that someone has actually given him all this wrong knowledge and therefore he is now repeating it to me. Tadadya arabhya naradadya vaishnava natra praveshniya iti adidesha iti bhava. So he says that the meaning is that Hiranyakashipu, he passed an order from today onwards, people like Narada, they are banned to enter in my palace. Because Narada was also coming and going, as we read, he was also coming and singing in front of Hiranyakashipu to entertain him. So he thought that maybe someone like him has got a chance and he has influenced my son. Samyak vidharya tambalo guru gehe dvijati bhi Vishnu pakshay pratichanay na bhidyeta se dhiryatha. So then what he said, he called his servants and he spoke, and also called these two teachers who were sons of Sukracharya. He said that Samyak Vidharyatam, that listen to my voice clearly, what I have to say. Balo Guruge Hedjhati Bhi Vishnu Pakshay Pratichanni Bhidyeta Sadhyata. He says, make sure that nobody disturbs and pollutes the mind of my son while he is studying at the house of the Guru. Because it looks like that some people from the camp of Vishnu, they have come in disguise as Brahmanas and they are probably visiting the teachers, and when they find an opportunity they are instructing him about Vishnu. So he says that we have to be very careful now onwards to see that there are no spies here. Because spies are very expert. They change their dress or they take some service somewhere. So he gave this order to everybody. And then he sent him to the house of the teachers. So now the teachers, they were very much worried because they also got chastisement from Hiranyakashipu. He was also angry at them that how dare my son is speaking this nonsense, and what are you doing? Are you teaching him this? So obviously they denied that. Why are we going to teach this? We are your Guru's son. We belong to your party. So he says, then from where is he getting all this nonsense? So he says, we don't know. So he says, okay, I warn you, if I ever hear any nonsense like this from my son, then you are responsible for that. So now the teachers, they got scared and they were keeping an extra watch on Prahlad. They brought him home. Now they are trying to figure out from where he got this, because they know that they did not teach this to him. So therefore the verse says, Grihyamanitam ahuya prahladam datyayajakaha prasasya sakshana vacha samapicchanta samadhi. So they brought Prahlad to their house, because previously children, they used to live in the Gurukula, in the house of the Guru. So they brought him with him, and then they didn't want to scare him first. They spoke to him very sweetly, in very nice words, and they said, please Prahlad, you are a very nice boy, you are a good student, which he was, because whatever they were teaching, he will immediately learn it and repeat it. So he says, can you tell from where you learned this? Because we are very curious to know where you got this wonderful knowledge. So this is Sama. There are 4 types of techniques to deal with situation: Sama, Dana, Danda and Bhed. So this is the Sama technique. Means in a very friendly manner you inquire, so that the other person does not feel scared, disturbed, and then tries to hide something. Because if you become friendly and you feel close to somebody, then you reveal your heart to that person. So that's how they were, because teachers, they are son of Shukracharya, they know all these techniques. So therefore it is said that Samadhi spoke very nicely. Prasaksya slakshanaya iti annatha baloyam bhayena saupdeskam vaishnam na vakshati. So Sri Vishnu Chakrati, he comments that they were speaking very sweetly to him, knowing that if they scare him, then he may not speak the truth. So this is actually one of the reasons that children, they learn how to tell lies. Because when they do some mistake in the house, then parents, they chastise him. Right? The mother gets angry. So the mother, of course, does not know that this is how she is training him to tell lies. Because the child also has intelligence, and when he realizes that I made a mistake and I told my mother, when she asked who broke the cup, I said, oh mom, I broke it, and then she was very angry and chastising me. So then he learns that next time, because also he does not like to be punished or chastised or even to hear a harsh word from the mother. So next time he makes a mistake and the mother asks, then he denies it. So this is how the children are trained by the parents to tell lies. So that's why even if the child is making mistake, and if he tells the truth, instead of getting angry, you should reward the child. And you should say, I'm very happy that you are telling that you broke the cup. So next time he makes a mistake, he will happily tell you, because you give him a chocolate. So next time he will do that, and this is how you train the child to be truthful. But nobody does that. It's very common practice that parents are immediately upset, angry, and trying to chastise. So this is how the children become expert in giving excuses, telling lies. See the psychology. So these teachers, they know this, therefore they are not trying to scare him and speaking in a very friendly manner. Vats prahlad bhadram te satyam kathaya mam risha balan iti kutastubhyam esha buddhi viparyaya. So they are saying to him, Vatsa is like very affectionate reference to the child, like beta. So my child, Prahlad, Bhadramte, you're a very nice boy. So Satyam Kathe, please speak the truth, Mamrisha, don't tell lies. It says Balan Ati Kutastubhya Evam Buddhi Viparya. He says you are just a young boy, so how is that you have this twist in your head? Instead of glorifying Hiranyakashipu, how is that you are glorifying Vishnu? How did this happen? Everybody is praising your father, everybody is coming and bowing down to him. They are bringing gifts to him and surrender to him, and here you are in his house and you are singing songs about Vishnu. So how did this happen? Bhadram Taiti Twadishtam Modakadikam Dasyamiti Bhava. So Vishnu Chakrita says that when they are saying Bhadram Te, you are a very nice boy, the meaning is that they are saying you tell the truth, we will give you one laddu, like Indian chocolate, to eat. So they are trying to bribe him to speak the truth. And Balanati Kramya Tubhyami, he says, how come you speak like a learned scholar, although a young boy? So how did this happen? Buddhi bheda parakrita utahote svato bhavat bhanyatam sotu kamanam gurunam kulanandana. He says that you are the favorite son of your father and we are your teachers, and we are very eager to know that how this change in your mind happened, and definitely it is not coming from your own self. You think that it has been done by someone, so who is that person? Please name him. Or is it just from within you? So this is the question they ask. Bhanyatamiti yadayam vaishnavasya kasyacin nam grinati tadatam vaishnavam gyatva ragya sabham nitva ghatyameti bhava. So the meaning, their intention was that if he takes the name of some Vaishnava, then we will catch that Vaishnava and take him to Hiranyakashipu and get him killed. So then we will be spared. But obviously Prahlad is not naming anybody. So when he heard this, then Prahlad he answers. Prahlad Vacha Swaparaya Chaitya Sadgraha Punsham Yanmaya Kritaha Vimohita Dhyam Vrishtas Tasmai Bhagavate Namaha. So he says that before I answer your question, let me first pay respect to Lord Krishna, because of whose Maya people think this is my, this is your. So he is already answering the question. So he is saying, in other words, he is saying that you are completely under the influence of Krishna's Maya, and therefore you have this idea, this is mine and this is yours. And actually it is all Isavashram Idam Sarvam. Everything belongs to God. But then we make the divisions. That this is my property, that is your property. And this is the influence of Maya. So Vimohita Dhyam, that everybody's intelligence is bewildered in this way. So let me pray to that Krishna so that I remain free from this bewilderment. Otherwise what I am going to do, that I will also reply to you in the same way. And then somebody is going to be in trouble. So Prahlad was not an ordinary child who was going to be influenced by anybody. As we read in yesterday's class, that he was although born in the family of asuras, demons, he was not influenced by anybody. And that is because his mind was very much fixed on God. As he was called as Krishna Graha Grihita. He was totally absorbed, or rather captivated by the thoughts of Krishna. Nothing could have any influence on him. He was beyond any influence of any materialistic person. So he is saying basically that those people who are not devoted to God and who are under the influence of God's Maya naturally, these are the people who have this type of mentality, biased nature, dualistic nature. And then they keep on fighting. That this is my town, this is your town, this is my country, that is our country. And this kind of quarrel continues. So Prahlad is not having that vision. Even towards his father, he is not thinking that his father belongs to something else. He says his father is also belonging to Krishna. Only thing that his intelligence is conditioned or influenced by Maya. So this is his thought. So Vaishnava, he does not discriminate like that. And even when he discriminates, Vaishnava does not mean that he is stupid. He understands who is a devotee, who is not a devotee, who is a spiritualist and non-spiritualist. But ultimately he understands that everything is belonging to one Supreme Person. Although his behavior is different. Sunichaya Sapakecha Pandita Samdarshina. He has equal vision. He sees a dog, an elephant, a brahmana, same. But it does not mean that he deals with them in the same manner. Knowing is one thing and dealing is according to the external status. A dog has a different type of body and a human being has a different type of body. So they have to be treated differently, although knowing that within there is same spark belonging to God. The Atma in both belongs to God only. But by the difference of body, they are acting differently. So therefore he says that I pray to him. Because everybody becomes influenced by the body which one has. Body is our limitation, it is our conditioning. And then our thought processes, our psyche is all influenced by that. And therefore we are unable to understand the truth. Because we are seeing the world, we are experiencing the world through our psyche, which is limited. And we cannot see the unlimited Lord who is existing everywhere. So unless we come out of that, we will always have improper understanding. So that's why there is variety in this world and so many opinions. All the truth is only one. reality is only one, but so many opinions about it because of our own different minds and different experiences, different natures we have acquired. So it is that source of this nature, source of this conditioning, Maya. He says, Yan Maya Kritaha Tvamsham Vimohita Dhyam. So this Maya of the Lord, this is the source of all this variety and source of our ignorance. So Bhayam Dvitiya Bhiniveshtasya Adishadapetasya Viparyo Smriti Tan Mayayat. So by the Maya we have fear and we have forgetfulness about the source, about our Lord from whom we have come. So unless we transcend that Maya, we remain in ignorance. So that transcendence happens only by surrendering to the master of that Maya. Mamevaya prapadyante Maya metam tarante. Those who surrender to me, only they can cross over, because this Maya is unconquerable. But Maya cannot influence the Lord to whom it belongs. So unless we take help of Him, we remain under its influence. Even the big scholars, great thinkers, yogis, if they do not surrender, then they may have vast amount of knowledge. They are still under Maya. And therefore we see that they also have all kinds of problems, fall down, scandals. Great personalities, very great personalities are involved in scandals for this very reason. Because nobody has the power to transcend it by themselves or himself or herself, no matter how wonderful they are. Even personality like Brahma, they also cannot get out of it without shelter of Krishna. So therefore he says very emphatically, Mamevaye prapadyante Maya metam tarante. And this is the conclusion of Gita. Mamevaye prapadyante Sarvadharman parityajya Mameva Sharanam Vraja. So this is the solution, and this is what Prahlad is telling to his father. But demoniac nature is not to surrender. You call it demoniac, you call it materialistic, whatever word he has. So basically there are two types of mindsets. One is that which surrenders to God, other is which does not like to surrender to God. Simple. These are the two basic divisions. So those who do not surrender to God, then there is so much variety in that. Even people in the name of religion, they don't surrender. They only use religion not to surrender. They use it for material purpose. So unless one gives up one's sense of independence, one remains averse to God and one remains under the influence of Maya. Even if one has mystical powers or whatever. So this is the basic disease. Because the fact is that we are not independent. But we are not willing to accept it. Somehow. And that's what Maya is. Maya somehow keeps us bewildered about the fact that we are not independent. So the whole purpose of spirituality, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Vedas, Upanishads is only to turn our awareness or consciousness, which is now away from God, to bring it towards God. So this is what Prahlad is speaking about. He actually hit right on the nail. when he asked, his father asked, what is the best thing you know? So he simply said, Yad Harim Ashrayat. Simple word, one who takes shelter of Hari. Otherwise he says, Atma Patam Griham Dhakupam. Otherwise he is in the path of fall down. Fall down is in the blind well. So blind well he cannot come out. So he says, Aho Mudha Ime Sansare Papachamana Mag Mam Mugdha Balakam Jananti Iti Mansi Vibhavya Parah Parpaksha. So they are thinking that this Prahlad is a small boy because he has a small body. But in the small body, he is a big man. So he is thinking like a big person. So he is inside his mind thinking that look at these fools. So they are being cooked in this material world. Yes, sansare papachyamana and mam mugdha balkam jananti. And they are thinking that I am a stupid boy. So he is thinking like this in his mind, he speaks the verse. So what he says is the reality. It says swaparasheti asadgraha. He says the first statement he says that this whole idea that this is mine and that is yours, this is improper knowledge. And then based on that, whatever decisions we make, that is wrong. So he says that why don't you understand that Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam, Vasudeva Sarvam Idam. Why don't you understand this simple thing? That you are not the owner and I am also not the owner of anything. You are making the fundamental mistake. So what is doing this? He says, Yan Maya. He says this is because of the Maya. Paraha Parpaksha Swasapaksha Iti Asangraha. So to think like Hiranyakasipu is thinking that this is my side, all these asuras, that is my party, that is my group. Right? We always try to join some group and we have one identity and we feel great. Why people have this tendency to join some group? And most people don't think very deeply. Because inside we all feel lonely. So we always want to be part of something. Join some fan club. Right? These days on the Facebook you have many groups. So join something. So you feel like a accumulated ego. So you go in a group, then you feel this is like we are all together as one. So therefore there is always this division that this is my group and that is your group. And then we don't consider whether my group is saying something wrong and your group is actually saying something right. No. My group is always right and your group is always wrong. So now in India the elections are going on. Say if you belong to one party, then all other parties are wrong. And today I switched this party, which happens. Just recently, 2 days before the election, 3 days before the election, you switch. Just there is big city here, Agra, where Taj is. So the mayor of that city, he belongs to BJP. And he is known to me very well. So one night suddenly he came here. I already went to bed. So they gave him a room, he slept, and in the morning he was waiting for me. So I came, he was just sitting outside and I was surprised to see him. So he said, oh Swamiji, I just want to see you, I have something private to ask you. So I don't know what he has to ask me. So I said, okay, he said, and then he said that I want to change my party. So I said, why? And then he gave his problem. So I advised him, don't do that. So and he had breakfast and he left. Then next day I see his photo on the front page in the newspaper. He's sitting with the other party. So he switched. So before that he was all the time singing song of that party. Now he's singing song of the other party. So now this party becomes bad, the other party becomes good. So this is how we identify. Because anything with which I identify, that is good. I am identifying with this piece of body, this matter actually, which is hanging around me. So I am very proud of it. And if somebody puts a finger at me, then I get angry. But actually this body is made of matter. Right? We eat chapati, rice, dal, that's what makes it. Same thing you are eating. So that is making your body. But you think this is you and this is me. Same food cooked in the same kitchen. Eat it together. So some food goes into your body, some goes into my body. But now this becomes mine. And that becomes yours. And then how much attached you become to that. It's amazing how much attached you become. It's only some rice, bread, some butter, right? Which has gone inside this. But now you become completely attached to it. And anyone who says one word about it, you are completely freaking out. So this is what he says, that this is what is called Maya. Because why we cannot think that it was actually the same food which went there and this is here and to whom it belonged. So that's why it says Parha par paksha swasva paksha iti asadgraha. That this is asadgraha. This is the improper understanding. This is the wrong knowledge. And then all problems start from this. So asadgraha, asad agraha. Agraha means like being adamant about something. Sleshena punsham sansara sindhu patitanam graho hinsrajal jantu vishesha. So this word graha is important. He's giving a meaning. Graha means also alligator. So he said asad graha means, he says this is the troublemaker alligator which has caught your leg. Like the story which comes later on. So he says this is the dangerous animal. Maya srishta drishta. This is the creation of Maya which is catching your leg. There is a story later on about this elephant, how his leg was caught by the crocodile. And then he was struggling to get rid of it. But he could not. Then he called for God and then only he could. So same thing. That our leg is caught by this crocodile. And no matter how much you cry and try and fight, you can never get rid of this crocodile unless you shout for more, as this Gajendra did. So this is another meaning. This is the hidden meaning behind it, asadgraha. And this is Yana Maya Krita. This crocodile is creation of Maya. So you cannot get out of it. Purvam anumita hai vasit samprati tu pratakshikrita ityartha. So he says that previously it was only a guess, but now it has been made clear. Ato yuyam tena pratikshanam charyadvayavati bhavam. So he says now you have made it very clear that you are caught by this crocodile and now you are behaving accordingly to that. So he says, I don't have anything against you. It is you who have the problem, not me. So now the question was that how did he get this knowledge? from where this knowledge came. So he is explaining this. Says Sayadanu Brataha Punsham Pasu Buddhir Vibhidyate Anyeva Tatha Nyayoham Iti Bhedagata Sati. So he says that only when one gets the blessing of the Lord, then one can give up this animalistic thought. He calls this as Pashu Buddhi, this idea of me and mine, I and mine. He says that this Pashu Buddhi or this animalistic behavior, it can be given up only if one has the grace of the Lord. Otherwise, one is always under its influence. Tathanyo hamiti bhedagata sati. Otherwise, there is always bheda bhava, feeling of separation, separatist mentality. Always trying to separate myself from the reality, from the truth, and then making decisions accordingly. Buddhi bhedo ayam tab kutaha ityasya prashno asya uttaram ahasayati. So the question which was asked by the teachers, that from where you got this knowledge, he is giving that answer now. Anuvrata anukulaha visheshena bhidyate vidiryate pasu buddhi vaivaka. So he says that when the Lord is favorable to somebody, then one can give up this idea. Otherwise, everyone has this. So what is this Pashu Buddhi? What is this animalistic intelligence or animalistic behavior? He describes that Esho Asmad Vipakshas Tatha Anyo Aham Etasya Ghateita Bhedam Gata Asati Asada. So he says to think that this is my enemy, or these are my rivals, and I have to destroy them. So he says this type of asadhu thought, unholy idea, this is the Pashu Buddhi, this is animalistic thought. Nahi gopyam hi sadhunam amitro dastavidvisham iti bhagavaduktair vastuta tu atmadrishtya sarvjivanam ekrupyat deha drishtya api sarvdehanam panchbhutatmakatvat bhedo nasti eva. So he says that as far as sadhus, holy people are concerned, they believe in the words of the Lord. Sadhunam amitra udasta vidvisham. Sadhu means those who have given up the idea that somebody is their enemy. They do not consider anybody, therefore they don't harm anyone. A sadhu never thinks of harming anybody. He may need to protect himself or herself, but he does not plan to make that I want to destroy or I want to exploit this person or take advantage of somebody. That is not a sadhu's behavior. So he says that this is what a sadhu is, and opposite of that is a sadhu. So he says that I have nothing to hide, therefore I will speak the truth. And he says that the truth is that if you see from the level of Atma, Atma Drishtya, from the spiritual level, then all living beings are same. Because spiritually there is no difference between one Atma and another Atma. From one self to another self there is absolutely no difference. The difference is only at the bodily level. That we have different types of bodies. Male body, female body, American body, Indian body. And the Atma inside is of same quality. So he says, Atma Drishtya Sarv Jivanam Aik Rupyat. That from the level of Atma, there is equality. And someone say, well, there is a difference at the level of body. So he says, actually at the level of body also, there is no difference. Because bodies are also made of same matter. So he says, Deha Drishtya Api Sarva Dehanam Panchbhutatmakatvat. That the bodies of everyone is made of these 5 tattvas: earth, water, fire, air, ether. So what is the difference? You can take, say, sugar and you can melt it, and then you can put it in this sancha machines and give it different shapes. You can make a horse from sugar, you can make an elephant or a monkey or a snake, but actually they are all sugar. So like that, we have different shapes: male body, female body, young body, old body, different body, but the material is same. So why discriminate? And then think this is better, this is friend, this is enemy. So he says that Sayadanu Pumsham Pashu Buddhir Vidhyate Anyesha Tathanyam Iti Bhedgata Sati. He says that when one actually has real grace of the Lord, and this is the real blessing. People think that if you get money, that is a blessing of God. Or people have different ideas what is blessing. He says that real blessing is when one has this understanding. So this is how Prahlad speaking. Now he is going to speak further, and then we will see how the teachers will react to that. They will get very angry, but it doesn't change Prahlad's mindset, and that's what will lead to the trouble. So we will continue tomorrow. If there is any question.
If you take the same subject we are reading here, the other way around, meaning that the child is born in a family of devotees, and the child is actually not devoted. But what I have learned from this particular situation is that association is very important. And our children, in the old days, I think the whole society was more harmonious towards goodness. And at this moment, as the society is very, very confused about what is what, so our children, when they go to school, they are, first of all, learning this Darwin theory and all these sort of things. And when they come home, they have a double mentality. At home, they're supposed to be like devotees, or
there's a confusion in the mind.
Nature. And if they go out there, if they would show this type of nature, they would be mocked sometime, beaten or something by students, fellow students. So it is a little bit hard to apply this type of thing when you are young and don't know how to deal with things, at that moment. But this happens, I have noticed that in our life, the other way around.
Yeah, that's true. I accept what you're saying, because what is most important is association. That's what brings a change in everyone's life, good or bad. So Prahlad also became like this because of association, as we will read. Because his friends will ask him, where did you get this knowledge? Then he will tell that he actually heard it from Narada. So because of that. So now the situation is different. Now the whole society is practically asuric. The whole education system is to train you to become an asura from Prahlad's point of view. Because it doesn't teach you to surrender to God or think of God, nothing. It teaches you that you are God. That's what Hiranyakashipu was saying, that there is no God, I am God. So that's basically the asuric thought. And to bring up child in that atmosphere is very difficult, because you cannot screen them. So this is a very problematic situation.
On the other side, for the parents, is also this same principle what you just talk about a little later, that we have to learn to be detached. Because again, they are Atmas, they have free choice to choose what they want in their future.
And in some countries, the children go to school and they are given lunch there, and it is non-vegetarian. And you have no say in that. If your children are vegetarian, then they are forced to eat meat. I know in France it's like that. They don't care. They give. At least in America, I think they will listen. There is some freedom. People talk so much about freedom of speech. But here there is no freedom even that what I can eat. But freedom of speech is very important to them, not freedom of food. So there are people who are facing this problem in France. They ask me what to do. They are given fish, they are given eggs, they are given everything. So that is the asuric influence.
I wanted to ask about this moment when one gets the blessing to realize this Atma's identity. Can one call it identity? Because we are still individuals when we are Atmas, but at the same time, the soul can realize that this identity of Atma is the same in every being. So then, about the individuality in Krishna consciousness, when one wants to serve Krishna, when one wants to be dedicated to him, and when one wants to do the service, what kind of individual identity is this psychology of the devotee? Because he's not losing his individuality.
Yeah, so there is basic individuality is that I am servant. That is the basic individuality. Now that service may vary, what kind of service is there, but this is it's like Bhagavatam says, what is absolute reality? It says Advaya Jnana. Advaya Jnana. Vadanti tat tat vidat tattvam is jnanam advaya. In the second chapter itself, that it is non-dual consciousness. That's how it defines the reality. But that non-dual consciousness then manifests as Brahma, Paramatma and Bhagavan. So like that our basic identity is that we are servant. That service can manifest in different ways.
This point where keeping separate from God, and basically being
Okay, ask quickly because I have another class.
Okay, antagonistic.
Just leave it for now because they are going to call me.
Yeah,
I have another class on Skype.